So on my channel, I do help a lot of channels to like grow and give them advice and things like that. And I tell everybody all the time, we are a brand. We are a brand no matter if we have 500, 1,000 subs, 2,000 subs, 3,000 subs. So it's important to like protect your brand. So that's why we have Katrina Simmons of Gifted Minds LLC. So for the newer people coming in, did you want to give a brief rundown of like the importance of
protecting your brand?
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome everybody that's just now seeing me. Hey. So it goes back into what I was saying, the legacy legalizer that I am. So if you are your brand, you, just like me, I'm my brand as well. You have to be very, very cognizant of several things. One is how you show up. And so before you start putting things out there, such as your name, we think about this a lot. So if you have that catchy name, you want to make sure that you have that secured. So securing your name requires a trademark. And the biggest question I get asked often is, what's the difference between a copyright and a trademark? And the easiest way for me to explain that to people is the tangible and the untangible. So a copyright, I always say, is tangible. Think about it like a book. Think about it like an album, things of that, things you can touch almost. Paintings, things of that nature, things you can almost touch. Mm-hmm. A trademark is more of an image. It can be a name. It is a logo design, things of that nature. So the intangible, the things that you can't necessarily touch, those are the differences. So when you have your business, a logo, your name, those are your trademarks. If you have a catchy phrase, that's a trademark. If you have a course, that's a trademark. Now, the content within that is the copyright. So that's the differences. So like this video is your copyright. The materials that you have is your copyright. So you want to make sure that you secure those things. The information on your website is your copyright. That's why at the bottom of everybody's website, it should say your copyright with the date. Mm-hmm. That's why you see those things. That's why it's so important. When you have a trademark, I always like to give the example of the Pillsbury Doughboy. You have the name Pillsbury, that's a trademark, but then you have the Doughboy itself, that's a separate trademark. So Starbucks is the same. You have the lady with the steam or whatever in the head, that's a trademark, and then the name is a trademark. Those are two separate marks. So that means they can be separated or put together. It's very tedious for trademarking, because if you don't trademark appropriately, there's only certain ways you can use it, and in certain industries you can use it in. So you can have more than one trademark in different industries. Pandora bracelet and Pandora radio is always my best example. They're the same name, but they're in two different industries. Mm-hmm. So you have to pay attention to see, one, is your name taken in your industry already? What industry do you see yourself utilizing in the future, and see if the name is right there? Because if it's not, and you haven't started using it, you'll have a little time, but you need to pay attention and watch it. Because if you're getting ready to use it in service, then it's time to go ahead and put it out and put it into that mark in that application. Because if you don't do that and you don't get your application in, somebody sees it and does it first, then now you got a problem, because you can't get it, or you'll have to license it from that person. You want to be the first in line. Facebook Meta had this problem. When they wanted to change to Meta, they didn't check everything they needed to. Somebody else had already filed for Meta right before they did. So they had to purchase this from these two guys, I think it was, small business owner, for like millions of dollars. They won with the come up because they were already in line for this. Facebook put it out before they did the proper checks. So it's these things that you've got to pay attention to. Same includes when it is your own name. That's another question I get from people. Well, I want to trademark my own name, like Beyonce and other names of that nature. That's fine. That's fine to do that. However, you have to be using it currently in that industry. So Miss T with the T, yes, you can do that in your industry if nobody else has it in that industry.
Mhm.
But if you want to go into that same industry and somebody already has that name marked, you cannot do it.
Right.
And there's a difference between state trademarking and federal trademarking. State trademarking is not it. I always tell people it really means nothing to me. It really doesn't mean anything. It's a waste of like $10. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that federal trademark, because that covers all 50 states. States, not international. Each country is different. That's major. Countries are totally different. This is something that I am now getting more training on, working with the corporation that I work with for the international mark. So that is something I'll be able to trickle down to my clients soon as I get more skilled on it myself. Okay. But it's a lot. Like trademarks are far more tedious than copyrights. So copyrights are super simple, very easy for you to attain. And like I said, they're not required to keep that.